Welcome our next storyteller, Kara Foran.
So I'm from a big family, and as a result, I always assumed that I'd have a lot of kids, specifically 5, a girl, a boy, identical twin girls, and then like a wild card. But life doesn't always go the way we plan, hashtag Hillary Clinton. That's right, feel that, I know. And so what happened is no one ever married me and no one impregnated me, and I turned 40, and I thought, well, I guess I missed that boat. I mean, that version does skip over a lot of bad boyfriends and painful breakups and hours and hours and hours of therapy, but that's basically it. I was single and childless and 40 and not very happy about it, but life also throws you some strange curves sometimes. So as it ended up, there was a child in my extended family who needed a place to go, and there I was with an empty womb and an empty bedroom, and the next thing you know, I'm raising a 5-year-old girl. Now, like all of you, I'm in DC because I like to be really, really good at things, you know? And that definitely extended to parenting. My kid is the best kid in the entire world, and as a result, I wanted to be the very best parent ever. Like, I wanted to win. And I wanted her to have everything that I didn't have, you know? For instance, I didn't know about feminism or sushi until college. And I really wanted her to have a healthy dose of both from the beginning. So we start out easy with like gender neutral toys and California rolls, but when she entered first grade, I knew I was gonna have to up my game because that's when kids start to learn about the birds and the bees. Now, I learned about the birds and the bees by asking my mother where babies come from one day when she was folding laundry, and she never made eye contact, never missed a beat in her rhythm. She said, well, when a man loves a woman, God plants a seed while they're sleeping. Not true. And they will kick you out of Feminist Parenting Club if you tell your child that in 2016. So I decided to go back to my original source material, which was a book called Where Did I Come From? That my best friend Erin had, and I probably read it 1,000 times. It has these very, very, very graphic cartoons. And it talks about sex and anatomy in very like clear terms, right? So I figure, okay, I'll order this, I'll read it, make sure it's still cool by 2016 standards, and then when the time comes and she asks me, I'll just like pull it out all casual and answer all her questions and I'll win. But what actually happened is we came home really late one night and there were 100 Amazon Prime boxes on my front porch, and she opened them all and found it and insisted that I read it to her immediately. So, a few things about Where Did I Come From? Number one, it's written by Peter Mayle, who's the guy that went on to write A Year in Provence. Like a weird career trajectory for him, I don't know. Number two, it has a lot of words in it, many, many, many more than I remember, like big blocks of text on every page, and she insisted that I read all of them to her. Three, some of those words included hard, stiff, and spurt, which I definitely was not ready for, like maybe never would have been ready for. And also, it gives titties as an anatomy synonym for breasts, which, I'm sorry, Peter Mayle, I know this book was published in 1978, but you cannot tell me that was ever okay. Like, it's just not. 4, it was pretty good on consent, but not perfect, so I had to do some ad-libbing. Like, if the book would say, when a man loves a woman, he kisses her, I would say, when a man loves a woman, he kisses her as long as she wants him to, because she feels like they're in a committed partnership where they're both contributing equally and her needs are being met and she consents fully and with a full heart. And if anyone ever kisses you and you don't want them to, you tell me and I will break their face, even if it's the goddamn president. And 5, the book talks a lot about how people who are in love have sex, which frankly has not been my adult experience. But I figure we can cover that when she gets to college. So here we go. We're reading this book. I think it's going pretty well. I'm kind of congratulating myself that like Betty Friedan would approve of what I'm doing. She has some questions about anatomy that are mostly summed up as like, how? How? But how? How? And I say very calmly, well, honey, let's go back and look at these are good questions. Let's go look at the picture again. This is how. And we're getting toward the end. We're in the home stretch. I can see that my release is imminent, to use a terrible pun for this story. And she goes, okay, well, I have one more question, but it's really weird and you're not gonna like it. And I put on my best NPR voice, that like musical, like I was having tea at the co-op with Terry Gross. And I said, oh, honey, there are no weird questions. I'm your person. I'm here for you. This is why we have each other. You can ask me anything. And she goes, okay, have you ever done it? And you know, we're a modern family, so I can't say, yes, Daddy and I loved each other very much, and as a result, God planted a seed, and here you are. So I just went with what I think Simone de Beauvoir would have told her daughter, which is, yes, I've done it. And she was like, and I was really proud of myself for that, but then she was like, well, what about Aunt Bree? What about Auntie Erin? What about Miss Janae, my teacher? What about Nana? And I was like, yeah, you can just assume that all the adults you know have done it. Now, it is really late, and we have got to go to bed. And she goes, well, who did you do it with? Do I know him? And I said, honey, that is not appropriate for grown-ups to talk to children. And when did you do it? And I said, listen, I am a single parent with a demanding career and meaningful hobbies, and it's been a little while, okay? When is that gonna be enough for you people? No, I didn't say that. I said, honey, that's something grown-ups only talk about with other grown-ups, and now we've got to go to bed. And so we go upstairs, and she brushes her teeth, and we read stories, and it's all sweet, and we're cuddling, and we're laying there in the dark, and I'm rubbing her back, and I think she's totally asleep. And she goes, Kara? And I said, yes, sweetie. And she goes, so I get all that, but then how do two girls make a baby? And I said, I'll tell you tomorrow. Thank you.